So, this just gives you an idea of just how much fun we've been having since we've been here on this debate and communication exchange that happened at the University of West Georgia for the last couple of days. Now, Sabbath, we've just had lunch. If you're a little high strung, you can understand. It was a good lunch.
It was a really
Very
good lunch.
good.
So, but our producer wants us to give you an idea of how we got to this point. So, starting on Sunday, how was the trip? Oh.
Rewind.
It was quite interesting. I mean, from departing NCU and towards the
Yes.
at 4 o'clock in the morning and
No, not at 4 o'clock, to catch up 4 o'clock.
Okay, 4 o'clock, right,
There
yeah.
you go.
And then for our time challenge persons that almost let us miss the flight.
Like,
But-
Yeah, I wonder who that was.
Who that,
for.
right.
Yes, yeah.
we
And
don't-
then onwards to actually getting there and checking in and just the fact to go to the party center and be able to rep DCS, and then on the plane. But of course, Chantel, you know the first flight wasn't so good for you, the landing.
No.
Some of us slept on that leg.
I
but for
could not
Chantel,
sleep. I could not sleep. We were flying at 36,000 feet, and we went through a lot of turbulence, and I just could not be at peace. I couldn't wait till we land, but we landed safely nonetheless. Even though it was a little rocky, but we landed nonetheless.
So this was Kingston to JFK,
Yeah.
New York, and then from New York to Atlanta. So that second leg.
The second leg was quite smooth. I'm not gonna even lie. I was upset with JetBlue Airlines. But you see, after the second leg, they redeemed themselves. So, you know, I have a newfound love and appreciation for JetBlue.
For JetBlue Air. Alright, so got to Atlanta, our host, Dr. Michael Hester from the University of West Georgia, met us. Sabrina.
Yes, so Mike showed up in a huge black van, a 15-seater, which was perfect because we had so much luggage and it was 6 of us. So we had enough space, and then he decided to take the scenic route to show us a bit of the city before we started the journey to Carrollton, which is where University of West Georgia is and where we were staying at the Hampton Inn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's it for Sunday. So Terry, so come Monday now is the day for classes. Give us your impression of what that experience was like.
Okay, so I was pretty excited to see what the American tertiary education system was like, and surprisingly it's not that different from what we have here in Jamaica, so you're not missing out on anything per se. And furthermore, we are more active in classes.
Yeah.
We participate much more than the students here do, and that was something I didn't expect.
Yeah, the teachers were giving Dr. Hester commendations, saying, you know, they were participating and they were active in class and they were asking questions. So we really felt good knowing that we came and we added something to the classes,
To the different classes.
even though we were just visiting.
Okay. We came up for two major events. One was a debate exchange, which happened a Tuesday evening, and then a media day. But before we get to those two major events, so that was the Monday, Tuesday, and the Thursday, we actually went to different classes. So I'm just going to say, of the different classes I went to, which one stood out for me and why. For those who don't know, I've been doing a podcast now for about 3 years. Yeah, 2017, and it's
Making it last with Noreen Daly.
thank you. So one of the classes that I wanted to attend was a class actually called podcasting. Now, one of the things that I appreciated about that class is that some of the things that I've been doing is what they're being taught to do. So, and out of that experience, I actually might even get a follower or two, because a young lady came to ask where she could find it, and I'm hoping from that I'll also get feedback from people who are learning the art of podcasting. So that, of the different classes I attend, that one stood out for me.
For me, it was advanced communication skills. That class stood out for me a lot, and there were some good presentations being done by students. Some needed more effort, but some were definitely informative, and I love that class.
So for me, one class that stood out for me was Introduction to Morality. And in that class I learned about a concept known as logically strong versus logically valid. And why that is a high point for me is because it's centered around debating. So an argument can be logically strong, but it doesn't make it valid. So if you're able to identify an argument that's logically strong, you can put it down and say that yes, it's strong, but it's not valid.
Yeah. I liked all of the computer science classes because what I didn't know I learned in terms of like language and syntax versus semantics, as well as what I knew before. It just kind of grounded the knowledge. But I really liked the philosophy class because it gave me an insight into some things philosophy, because philosophy isn't a course taught at NCU, and so I got to step into that world, and it gave me some insight, and I have some stuff to research now which can better help my debating.
Well, for me, 2 classes stood out to me. One was public speaking. That made me appreciate our lecturers more, because they're so stringent and they're so hard on us that we must dress properly. We must be able to pronounce and enunciate, and diction should be okay, should be correct. And seeing some of the students present and not being able to execute those things made me appreciate what DCS has to offer. And secondly, it was a philosophy class, critical thinking, that broadened my scope a bit and showed me that I need to do more reading, and not because I'm a communication studies major with an emphasis in public relation, I should just limit myself to that sort of thinking, or limit myself to reading anything that's relating to that. I should broaden my scope and read some things about environmental science, biology, just broaden your scope. It doesn't hurt to learn.
Okay. So the debate exchange would happen on a Tuesday evening. Terrain and Sabrina, tell us a little bit about that experience for you.
So the style of debating, the style of debating that we do at NCU is BP, British Parliamentary Debate. So we went into it thinking it would be strictly BP. However, a couple of the things were changed, and so it was awkward at first, but getting into the debate, just like actually debating, that was a really good experience. Hearing the other 2 speakers and just debating with international students, because I think that's my first time actually debating with international students, because while they were at our invitational, I hadn't been in a room with them.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that was eye-opening, debating with new people.
The key thing, more time does not always mean better.
True.
Because we got an idea of what the motion would be about beforehand, and even so, I wouldn't say it was
made it
better.
better.
Yeah, they made it better.
Kind of because it was different, it kind of made it worse in a sense. Because we I don't know, you over
Yeah, information
over
overload.
over prepared and just went in with all of the information all over your head, and it didn't come up how you would want it to come up.
But the good thing though is it was good clashing with Dion again. And I must say that I have seen the improvement he has grown as a debater, and I enjoyed clashing with him.
And I know somebody's wondering, okay, so who won? Nobody won.
Yeah.
It wasn't a win-lose. So let me just clear that up right away.
Yeah.
So now we're on to the media day. Now for the media day, they started out with a panel discussion, then they went to a networking session, and then a luncheon where they actually awarded students and alumni. But I'm skipping through all of that so that both of these individuals can speak specifically about that networking session.
That networking session, I loved it. Like that, I'm definitely keeping that in my memory forever. just being able to meet with persons from radio stations, meet with persons from ABC, the affiliates, meeting PR persons, and everybody, they actually had something to do with writing. And writing is what I'm passionate about. And the fact in the way in which they presented themselves, the way in which they could articulate, the way in which they were as receptive, and as well as you could even give them your resume. And I just love the fact that they did that. And as well, one of the actual persons that were on display at the networking, he actually emailed me.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
So
the
that's
connection has
something.
been made. Nice.
So connections have been made,
Nice.
and these years we are spreading our wings.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Well, firstly, I would like to say a big thank you to Dr. Michael Hester for including us in Media Day. I mean, the persons who were there did not treat us differently from the students. Yes, the Media Day was for UWG students, but they treated us like we were part of UWG. So we got a chance to meet every single entrepreneur who was there. We got to speak with them, network, get their information, give them our information, give them our resume. They were so fascinated about Northern Caribbean University and Jamaica. They asked a whole lot of questions, and they told us about the opportunities. We can sign up for internship. There's internship in fall, there are internship in opportunities in the summer. So we will be so happy to share these opportunities with you, because it's not just for us, it's for all of us. We are family.
So now we're gonna go to almost like a part 2 of the debate exchange. Because one of the one of the reasons for this trip also is to also explore new partnerships. So we already have a relationship, University of West Georgia. So we went to Morehouse College, where
Dr. Martin Luther King studied.
yes,
As well as many other great black minds.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So speak about that experience, because we met with the debaters first. Well, some of the debaters, and then we also went to an argumentation class where a practice debate was held.
Yeah. So in the back of my mind, I knew that we were going to debate, but I thought it was just another show debate, mock BP style. However, when we went to the argumentation class, the teacher says, he says, you know, we were discussing this article and this article by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and now we debate. And he just started writing up the roles, and he asked who wants to be what, and then he gave the motion. He's like, you have this amount of time to prepare, go. And then it was just like a whole rush of emotions, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to do it for NCU, because the room was filled, the debating class was filled with Morehouse students, Spelman students, and there's a high schooler. Right, so the debate was mixed with all of those people plus NCU. So I was like, yeah, I really don't know what to expect, because that mock debate on Tuesday was just UWG, and we had time to research before, and I kind of knew one of the debaters, so I'm like, yeah, it's going to be fun, but just not as rigorous as this, because it was just sprung on us.
Yes, and by the way, she was the best speaker for that match.
For that match, yes.
From my point of view, the experience, what I thought was that I would be at a disadvantage, because
I thought so.
These students, they are a part of the American population, so they would be more more versed in the history and all of that. The thing that stood out to me is that regardless of where you're debating, once you're a debater, you can debate anything.
That's right.
And you can debate even the greats. So don't underestimate yourself.
That experience made me more appreciative of all of the training I've received from not just my coaches at NCU, but people I would have met on my little over a year journey being on the NCU debate team, and so all of it just kind of came together and solidified my purpose as a debater, representing not just my school but my country. So it was just amazing.
Well, out of that, what I'm happy to announce that talks have started, because the plan is now for Morehouse College and Spelman to come and join us for our invitational in
Ooh,
Oh yes.
we're expanding. We're
Yes.
expanding. So now that is all the serious
Business.
business.
Oh yes.
So yesterday, which was Friday, we did different things because it made no sense for people to come to Atlanta or
For the
come to
first
Georgia
time.
and not for the first time and not actually experience a little bit of what Atlanta has to offer.
Centennial Park and the water fountain and as well as we met a man that
The
he had
Jamaican.
Has been
Oh, the
a
Jamaican.
street
Right.
musician.
Right.
yes, a street musician that has Jamaican roots.
Insert
And
clip here.
Yeah, yeah.
his family name is Parchment
Parchment.
from
Yeah.
St. Elizabeth.
From St. Elizabeth.
And let me tell you, that man is well educated,
He's all wise.
very wise. He even gave us some advice
Yeah.
that, let me tell you, I will never forget.
You might have seen me like texting on my phone, but I was just literally writing down what
What
he
he
was
was
saying in
saying.
my
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was willing to share.
Guerrilla education instead of guerrilla warfare. So we're gonna flip something for you. Oh yeah. What the grandpapa brings from up above. You know it's packed with love. But I'm gonna make it bigger. You know when I pull my trigger real high.
The Martin Luther King Jr. Museum stood out to me most because it took me back to a place that I didn't live, but I was able to appreciate where we are today. Because of people like Martin Luther King Jr., we are able to travel. Because of people like Martin Luther King Jr., we are able to drink from the same faucet as non-colored people. I mean, because of people like Martin Luther King Jr., we are able to do a lot. We are able to have an education, and these are things that sometimes we seem to take for granted.
Yeah.
So that brought me to a place of gratitude. As Coffee said, gratitude is a must, and we shouldn't take that little phrase for lightly. Gratitude is definitely a must.
The MLK memorial was really humbling. I have to admit I'm not as knowledgeable in Black history as I should be. However, it was very humbling for me to recognize the great things that people have done for Black people to be where we are now. And it actually inspired me to want to, well, I do want to become a world changer, but it inspired me to want to become an activist for equity and stuff like that, just because of the great impact that people like MLK have on the world. You know, why not me?
Right.
That was the question I was asking myself. Why not me?
Martin Luther King Jr. Museum was definitely the high point. When I was there, it felt as if I was literally walking through history itself.
Yeah.
Because it was so immersive.
Yeah.
I could feel every
Its
single
presence.
thing. Yes, even the description of the different booths, you could actually get a vivid picture of the events, and it also highlighted to me the many persons whose hands we're now standing on, because they are the ones who set the foundation for the corridor we do now.
It also showed me how great technology is. I had to mention technology because y'all were talking about DCS. I had to mention the computer science department. So seeing the television playing with the recording,
Different clips.
Right.
right? I'm like, you know, technology is coming from afar. And if it is that it did not exist in those times, then we wouldn't have these articles, these things to look back on and remember, right? And recognize the impact that these people had. So yeah, technology is amazing.
What that did for me was to remind me to continue doing whatever it is that I'm trying to do in my own little corner of the world. And if everybody tries to impact their space, it will then have a ripple effect and we'll have a better society.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, but okay. So as we're wrapping up, there are several persons we need to thank, and we will see that coming up on the screen. And among them,
credits.
if nothing else, it will be the different alumni chapters.
Yeah.
5 different chapters contributed to us being here, and we must say thanks to them.
Thank you.
Thank you. This
experience is something rooted in my memory. I can never forget.
Right.
It has been life-changing for me,
Yeah.
because anywhere I go, I try to get ideas to how then to improve where I'm at. So you will see some changes thanks to this visit. But what, if anything, we've said a lot, but what, if anything, stands out in your mind? And what advice would you give? Because we're hoping for this to be annual. So what advice would you give to the set that will make that trek next year?
Ooh.
Prepare for the weather. but seriously though, don't just close yourself into one space where you're used to. The world is at your fingers, but also when you get these opportunities, take them, right? I mean, the burgundy jacket holder position is something that's very much serious, and if you are nominated for it, give it your best shot, because it's through this avenue that we were able to come here.
Right.
So let me tell you, every opportunity that you get, take it, because it opens the door to many more opportunities, and its opportunities are endless. Being able to meet persons here in Georgia, and it doesn't just stop at meeting them, but a relationship has started. The networking is happening.
For the incoming burgundy jacket holder, well, when you are awarded this opportunity, don't just come and think of yourself. Come and think of the entire DCS, Department of Communication Studies. Try to build partnerships that can last a lifetime, that can, continue even when your tenure is up. And for my fellow DCS students, I've learned a lot from this opportunity, and trust me, the level of education, our lecturers, and the family vibes that we have in DCS should not be taken for granted, because I tell you, and I'm gonna leave it here.
Yeah.
I would just say don't limit yourself to anything at all, because people would think, what would a CIS person be doing with a bunch of DCS persons? But it's not about that. In the essence of it all, where people representing a school, people representing our country, and so never limit yourself to things because you think you can't do it. I never thought I was going to be in a whole different country representing my school debating. So don't limit yourself and just speak up and speak out.
Okay, as for me, I'm not going to say a lot, but I'll give you 3 things to remember, which are some things that I have learned. First one is to be open to trying new things. Second one, be willing to take risk. And the third one, which is something that came from a street musician, is that your brain works just as good as anyone else.
I remember he said that for real.
Yes.
So do not think or do not underestimate what you're capable of.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, all of this came out of an initial conversation with Dr. Michael Hester when he was in Jamaica, and I said, would you be willing to take a team or two to our competition? Because he said yes to that, I took time off my vacation time last year to go visit him, and that is where this partnership was cemented. Out of it, here we are, less than a year later, doing this. Why am I sharing that? Make use of opportunities, as Casey said, when they present themselves, because you just never know what might happen.
Yep.
Well,
Big up, Mike.
Yes.
Big up,
Uncle Mike.
Yeah. But we're currently in a space where we've been fed, and we have to say thanks to those families. So we also have to say thanks to the McDonald's. We have to say thanks to the Lawrences, because they're currently hosting us for the weekend until we return to Jamaica. So I am probably going to say until next time.
Yeah, I was just
hopefully
next year.
Oh yeah, hopefully next year I'll be doing this again with another set of students.
Annual
But
UWG
debate and communication exchange. But bye.
Bye.
It wasn't recording.
Hello.
We're going
Yard free.
Yard free. Almost last leg, yeah.
It's good to be home. Back on the rock.
We're here.
Back on the rock.
We hot.